and mayor's here. So we'll start the meeting at this time. I'm going to turn it over. No, I'm not going to turn it over. We have 3 presentations tomorrow evening. The first order of business consent agenda. C1 is approval of the minutes. C2 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to apply for 2022 assistance to firefighters grant in the amount of $43,977 to be matched with local funds in the amount of $4,398. Mr. Reinbart? Okay. C3 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a settlement agreement with a condemnation matter related to the Pine Grove North Intersection Improvement Project in the amount of $155,962.12.
This is just for the vacant lot?
No, sir. Assistant City Attorney Sean Evans will address this issue.
No, sir. There's a house on it. Also, it's 1 block east of the current intersection. Yes, sir. That's correct. It's 1 single lot with the house on it. We had already closed on the one with the vacant lot, and the house is the one next to it. Thank you.
Okay. Public hearings. PH1 is an ordinance in the matter of naming an unnamed public road as an extension of Telephone Road. PH2 is an ordinance modifying an existing MD17 CD high-density multi-dwelling residential conditional district located at 4742, 4746, 4750, and 4754 College Acres Drive to allow for 7 duplex structures. PH3 is an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city to rezone property containing 0.375 acres of land and associated right-of-way located at 1201 and 1203 Princess Street from O&I CD Office and Institutional Conditional District to UMX CD Urban Mixed-Use Conditional District for an existing restaurant use and 2 residential units. And then PH4 is an ordinance making amendments to the Land Development Code, Chapter 18, related to open space standards for commercial district mixed-use CDMU projects and the process through which the city's technical standards and specifications manual is amended.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
On PH4, tomorrow night we'll have a substitute ordinance for you. It doesn't affect the actual what's happening in the ordinance, but in the ordinance there are a couple of code sections that are mentioned that accidentally reverted back to the old code numbers. So we just need to switch those out with the new code numbers, but it doesn't affect the actual ordinance. So
in reading this, it does refer back to the pre-existing LDC. That was in error?
Yes, sir. That was an error. So we'll put in the correct code numbers for what was supposed to be there.
So this is only an amendment to the new.
I apologize. No, the errors, sir, are in. If you in your item, they're just in the section that talks about what our authority is.
What is?
What our authority is to change the code, and so it's nothing that's actually in the body of the ordinance itself that's in error. So everything that's in the ordinance itself is correct, but some of the cites to the code at the top that says, whereas local governments are authorized by 160D to change the code, some of the code sections in there are just misquoted. So, but everything in your ordinance should be correct.
Let me just ask it this way. Is this changing our LDC from
Yes,
what
sir.
was presented to us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It doesn't have anything to do with the previous LDC?
Correct. Well, I mean,
It's not the clearest document I've ever read in my life for somebody that's not a planner, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And planning can address any specific questions if you'd like.
Let's do it tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
8 ordinances. 01 is an ordinance making a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $155,625 from the North Carolina Public Beach and Waterfront Access Program administered by the Department of Environmental Quality, Division of Coastal Management, to the Bradley Creek Kayak Launch Project. Yes, sir.
And I just want to be clear, there's 2 or 3 different numbers in there. Is $375,625 the total cost of this project?
Yes, Councilman Rivenbark, that is correct. We had $220,000 allocated from the 2016 Parks Bond, and the grant amount is $155,625, so those two added together is the $375.
What was the original estimate to what this was going to cost? The 220?
Yes,
Okay. And we had, like everything else we're doing, we had a $155,000 increase?
that's correct. We are only at 30% in design, and as engineering has taken a practice to, because of all the cost overruns and inflation, is to have a 30% design contingency at this point in the project. And as the design gets refined and you get towards construction documents, the idea is that that amount of contingency may decrease.
I'd like to see a picture of where the 30%, what the 30% design looks like.
Okay, we can have that to you.
And also, I believe Neil the other day mentioned, about parking. Is that something that's running parallel with this project, is lining up something?
Yes, so in the design, we'll have a few parking spaces, and I can get the exact number for you from engineering. And then based on your concerns, Councilman Anderson's, and I believe Councilman Waddell, I'm reaching out to CFPUA, Alpha Mortgage, and Tongue and Groove. Those are the three businesses that are on Oleander that are closest to the project to inquire about shared dedicated parking.
Is there any plan to improve that road going down there?
Yes,
Okay. All right, thank you.
you're welcome.
O2A is a resolution officially accepting public streets and storm drainage facilities within the Creekside subdivision. And then O2B is an ordinance establishing a speed limit of 25 miles per hour along Ronald Court within the Creekside subdivision.
I had a question. I think I'm the only person here that's inquisitive this morning. In reading about the accepting the streets and stormwater, there was a sentence in there that kind of threw me a little bit for down the road. We were talking about, let me get to it. It was going to, I don't know if it was the streets, and because they both deal with Creekside. It said they were going to be brought to substantially our condition substantially. I understand what substantially means, sir, but what does that mean to the city? Is at some point later, we would have to go back in there on our nickel and bring those up to complete standards? That word threw me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm looking for the reference, I'm sorry. If it is, it may be an error, because the roads, these roads were approved by the Technical Review Committee, and the roads have been built to city standards. So if there was a resolution to substantial compliance, that may have been an error. I apologize.
I'll find it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And then the last one is resolutions. R1 is a resolution supporting requests of state funding of a 10-mile parallel line Phase 2 for the Lower Cape Fear Water and Sewer Authority. And with that, this concludes this portion of the agenda. Mayor, are there anything further to bring forward?
No, sir, there are no further formal items on the agenda. I would, though, like to take a moment. We have been partnering with the Masters of Public Administration program at UNC Wilmington, and we have brought on 2 fellows for the next year who will be working with the city manager's office and learning the city and trying to encourage them to love local government and want to stay here. So I do want to take a moment and introduce them. Cedia Dominic is with us. Her background is actually in marine biology, so very interesting. And then Nick Reinhardt, who comes to us with a background more in business and a graduate of University of Penn. So we welcome them, and you'll get to know them because they'll be around helping us out here at the city.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mayor.
They were coming up the steps this morning, and they were going to use the back steps, and I'm always afraid those doors are going to be locked. And I said, those doors are locked. You need to use the senior steps. I don't know what the hell I was thinking about. Well, I was back in high school or something. Welcome.
Okay. All right. There's no other questions.
No other items?
Thank you very much. We stand adjourned.